that what concept also we learned GDP. So it has registered a decline trend from 1951 because at the time already in sectors of Indian economy you learned in a detailed manner with the help of bar graphs. I think so you all remind the bar graphs, or else you go through once the sectors of economy. Their comparative sheet is given 1973-74 to 2013-14. And in what way a contribution from agriculture sector to the Indian GDP declined. Especially declined means not declined, increased, but proportion when compared to remaining two sectors, that is industrial sector and service sector, its contribution started to decrease. At the same time, employment opportunities also the same. Initially, it provides a 74% of employment opportunities, but as per 2010-11, 52%. As per 2013 and 14, that means as per the lesson development, there we learned 49% of employment is provided by primary sector. So this is about contribution and all. So decline of share of agriculture in GDP is the matter of serious concern because still it is the largest employer. Because largest employer is contributing less to the economy, means limited income is sharing by more number of people. So which is not good sign to the people who are working in agriculture. That is why to develop the agriculture sector, to increase its share to the GDP and all, some serious steps were taken by the Indian government. That different steps were taken. Those were establishment of Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, agricultural universities, veterinary services and animal breeding centers, horticulture development, research and development in field of meteorology and weather forecast etc. were given priority for improving Indian agriculture. That means Indian government realized that the contribution from agriculture sector to the Indian GDP is declining and farmers facing severe problems because they are getting not handy income from the agriculture. So that's why these are all the steps taken by the Union government for the improvement of agricultural sector. So what they did, establishment of Indian Council of Agricultural Research, agricultural universities in different states, veterinary services and animal breeding centers, horticulture development, as well as fish culture, as well as research and development in the field of meteorology and weather forecast. These are all the importance is given by the Union government for the development of agriculture. And then come to the India growth of GDP and major sectors. So I think this information is not proper information. Let's check the textbook once. This is somehow previous data. Better we go through the textbook. By that we may get a proper current information regarding it. See the tabular information once. India growth rate of GDP. Already we learnt in previous concept what is GDP. The total value of all the final goods and services produced in a country during a period of 1 year is known as gross domestic product GDP. So when compared to previous year, how much it increased or how much it decreased, that what we know in the percentages, that what we call it as a GDP growth rate. So this is GDP growth rate is given in the tabular form. Agriculture 2013-14 growth rate was 4.2. See, within the immediate next year 2014-15 minus 0.2. 2015-16 only 1.1. So what can we understand? In 2013-14 4.2. 14.2 negative growth rate minus. So when that means the total value of agricultural goods in 2014-15 was less when compared to 13-14. Even in 2015-16, only 1.1% of growth rate, which is very, very less. See the remaining sectors, industry, 5% growth rate, 14-15, 5.9% it increased to, and in 15-16 it increased to 7.3. Service also the same, 7.8 in 2013-14, increased to 10.3 in 2014-15, slight decrease to 9.2 in 2015-16. On the whole, the worrying factor out of these three sectors is agriculture. So agricultural growth rate is very, very less or minimal when compared to remaining two sectors. That's why Indian government started to focus on agriculture, because it provides food to the millions of the people. That's why agriculture sector is important to us when compared to all other. And then that's why government is giving subsidies on fertilizers, decrease in lending to increase in the cost of production. So I think you all know that farmers give inputs as manures as well as chemical fertilizers. So these chemical fertilizers real cost is more. That's why the farmers can't bear that one. That's why these people give government give some subsidy. What is the subsidy? Any good which sell less than its production cost, then we call it as a subsidy. That the remaining the loss is borne by the government. Best example, in ration shops, the people may get 1 kg, 1 kg of rice at 1 rupee cost. Is it really only 1 rupee? No. The remaining amount is borne by the government. That amount, what we call it as a subsidy. Here also, Union government started to give subsidies on fertilizers. That means they directly pay to the producer. By that, farmers may get fertilizers at less cost, which reduces the production cost to the farmers. So farmer may get benefited. In this way, these steps are taken by the government for well-being of the farmers. And farmers are withdrawing their investment from agriculture because the conditions are not much favorable regarding these things and all. Due to bad weather conditions as well as global impact. So farmers are many cases getting losses. That's why farmers are not interested to invest their money. So impact of globalization on agriculture. So what is the meaning of a globalization? Globalization is nothing but integration of countries in the world. So the rapid integration of different countries in the world is known as globalization. So we will learn more about globalization in lesson. Specific lesson is given regarding globalization. In economics, fourth lesson is there, globalization, the impact of globalization on India. Here it is given as what is the global impact of globalization on Indian agriculture. So have any change that takes place? Suppose if you notice the impact of globalization, suppose the share market may increase or decrease. If you follow the news, they says that American Federal Bank increased interest rate. That's why in India, share market is collapsed. Why? What is the link between American Federal Bank decision and Indian fall of Indian share market? That is what about globalization. Because nowadays American investors are investing their money in our country, our people are also the same, and we are getting projects from America or any other countries. In this way, if have any rise in a particular economy, it helps for the positive sign to development for other economies. If have any crisis which started within one economy, other countries also affected in the same way. That what we call it as a globalization process and all. So even before the globalization, so Europeans came to our country as a traders. We all know it. So those people, why Europeans came to our country? To buy different commodities which had great demand in their countries. They want to purchase different commodities in our country, and then they want to sell these in their home countries for profit. So at that time also the impact of globalization only, indirectly it was also globalization, international trade. So they purchased different goods in our country and exported to their motherlands to get profits and all. So come to the during the period of British period, cotton belts of India attracted British, and ultimately cotton was exported to Britain as a raw material for their textile industry. In this regard, fifth lesson, the age of industrialization is there. There we can learn in a better way. So earlier, Britain was the importer of textile from us, but due to industrial revolution, they started to purchase raw material, raw cotton from us and to feed their industries. And later, whatever they produced, that textile, they dumped over the Indian market. So in this way, India was the exporter of cotton and later turned as a exporter of raw cotton and importer of textile due to the British policies in our country as well as industrial development of Britain. So that's why, due to cotton textile, the export of our raw cotton to the British, cotton textile industry in Manchester and Liverpool flourished due to the availability of good cotton, quality cotton from India. So in history lesson, we learnt about the Champaran Satyagraha, Champaran movement in 1917 in Bihar. So Gandhiji led the Champaran Satyagraha. Just recall once what happened as a part of Champaran Satyagraha. In Champaran, the Britishers forced the farmers to cultivate indigo, at least 1 by 3 by 20th part of their agricultural land, they should cultivate indigo. So indigo cultivation requires more and more manual labor, and they won't get any sort of profit. Whatever the price offered by the Britishers was very less. That is why Indian farmers refused to produce indigo. Indigo it was used as a color in textile industry for a dyeing purpose at the time. So that's why they forced the Indian farmers to raise indigo, which was not profitable to the Indian farmers. That is why Indian farmers demanded to abolish that system, that what we called it, learned as a Tinkatiya system. That means an agreement between planters and farmers to produce indigo, and they did not offer good price to the indigo crops in our country. So that's why Gandhiji launched Champaran Satyagraha against such kind of laws and agreements. Finally, Britishers abolished that system and all. Under globalization, particularly after 1919, Indian government changed our policies. Up to 1990, we followed in one way. After 1990, we changed our policy as a part of globalization. So we decided to welcome the foreign investments and all. So in 1919, new economic policy was introduced in India, that is popularly known as LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. So at the time, Manmohan Singh was the finance minister of our country, and the Congress party was ruling under PV Narasimha Rao. So they decided to encourage private investments, and they decided to take some liberalization policies to attract foreign investments to our country. And we decided to expose our economy towards globalization. So that's why we seen some rapid changes in Indian economy after 1990. So both positive as well as negatives. So positives were foreign investments started to come to our country, which created some sort of employment opportunities. Indian economy was widened, so technology was transferred from multinational companies at international level to our local companies. These are all positive sides over the impact of globalization. But at the same time, negative impact of globalization was also there. So this situation forced us to compete with the producers of other parts of the world. Here, especially farmers were faced problem at this juncture, because in many countries, especially developed countries, still they started to give more and more subsidies to the farmers. By that, they are able to produce the goods at, agricultural goods at cheaper rates, and they were ready to sell their agricultural goods in international market at cheaper rates, cheaper than the Indian producers. So that's why Indian producers could not compete with the foreign farmers, because these farmers used to get higher subsidies from their countries. So that's why it was a big problem to the Indian farmers as a part of globalization and all. They get subsidies. So today, Indian agriculture finds itself at the crossroads. So, to make agriculture successful and profitable, proper thrust should be given to the improvement of the conditions of marginal and small farmers, because in India their number is more. So, green revolution promised to some extent, because due to green revolution, production as well as productivity started to increase in our country, so which increased the income of farmers also. So but it did not continue for a long time, because both positive as well as negatives of green revolution are there. Positive impact of green revolution on India is India achieved self sufficiency in food grains due to green revolution technology. Income of farmers also started to increase due to green revolution technology. But whereas over a period of time, land started to degrade due to overuse of chemicals as well as fertilizers, pesticides, as well as more using water and all. In first lesson we learnt, if you give more irrigation, it leads to salinity and alkalinity. That means it leads to land degradation. Over application of fertilizers and pesticides again leads to land degradation. So these are all the negative impact of green revolution. Again, cause a problem for the farmers and all. Then now what should we do to overcome this problem? So nowadays, the trend started to change. That is, now the people are talking about organic farming instead of the application of fertilizers as well as pesticides. That means eco-friendly agriculture system. Instead of using chemical fertilizers and pesticides, so farmers started to give priority for organic farming, which is environmental friendly and good for the health also. Due to excessive application of fertilizers and pesticides, which shows us a negative impact on the health of people also. So that's why it is a time to change our strategies on agriculture. Governments as well as farming community, scientists also realized in this regard or the importance of how to reduce the application of fertilizers as well as pesticides. So instead of this, we encourage organic farming, natural manure and all. By that we can our cultivation of leguminous crops like pulses, which also increase the fertility, as well as crop rotation. These are all the methods has to be followed by the farmers to sustain the land fertility. By that we can produce the same quantity of production and productivity over a long period of time. Otherwise, Indian agriculture will be in threat. So, and moreover, we know that farmers, farming community especially, are not ready to what we can say encourage their own children in the agricultural field, because which is after 90s, especially due to globalization and privatization as well as liberalization policies. So Indian agriculture is somehow humble, and they are facing some problems. So some of the particular years they may get huge profits, and so many years they may get loss. There is no even though government announce MSP and all, it is applicable to only food crops. It is not there for other crops and all. That means commercial crops. That's why there is no stability in the income of farmers. That is why many every year some thousands of farmers are committing suicide due to their what we can say indebtedness, as well as crop failure and many other reasons and all. So it is immediate on war foot. Government as well as society must focus over the problems of all these things. We have to address in a proper way. Otherwise, Indian agriculture will face a problem. So come to the exercise what is given at the end of the lesson. See, once by this the lesson is completed, and today's concepts simply we learned about contribution of Indian GDP from the agriculture sector. It was 52 as per 2011 and 12. So employment contribution to the GDP somehow 17%. Now it is reduced to 12%. On the whole, from 1973 to the present scenario, we conclude that contribution of agriculture sector to the Indian GDP is started to decline. Now its contribution is very less. But on the whole very less, but still 49% people who depend on agriculture. That's why agriculture sector is important. And what are the steps, the global impact of globalization on Indian agriculture also we discussed, especially after 1990s and all, what are the changes due to liberalization policies and all. Come to the exercise ones. So here some multiple questions are given. So see once, which one of the following describe a system of agriculture where a single crop is grown on a large scale? Which one of the following describes a system of agriculture where a single crop is grown on a large scale? What is the answer? Shifting cultivation, plantation agriculture, horticulture, intensive agriculture. Yes, the answer is plantation agriculture. B is the correct answer for the first question. Come to the second question. Which one of the following is a Rabi crop? There we learnt different crops that grow in Kharif season, Rabi season and Zaid season. Three crop seasons or three crop patterns, cropping patterns in our country. There we learned rice. It grows in Kharif. Millets also grows in Kharif. Gram, it is a Rabi crop, and cotton is also grows in Kharif. So here answer is gram. B is the correct answer again. See the third one. Which one of the following is a leguminous crop? Leguminous crops. Pulses, millets, jowar, sesamum. Out of these four, which is the leguminous crop? Pulses are known as leguminous crops. Pulses are known as leguminous crop. So answer is A. Come to next one. Next question. Here, which one of the which one of the Which one of the following is a leguminous crop? Already we learned. Next to some questions are given. Here see once. uh, along with only three objective questions are given. Three objective questions are given, and the remaining questions, short questions, are given like 3 marks questions once. Name one important beverage crop and specify the geographical conditions required for its growth. So in our lesson we learnt about two beverage crops. Those are tea or coffee. You can take any one of it and write the geographical conditions. Suppose if you take a tea, it grows in tropical and subtropical conditions, and it requires showers throughout the year, which allow to grow tender leaves, and it requires more temperature, as well as well drained soil, which must consist of humus and organic matter. So this is all about tea. And coffee also is given. Coffee, especially coffee was introduced by the Britishers in our country. Initially they introduced Arabica variety of this one. It also requires some loamy soil as well as well drained soil. These are all the features are given. You learned in the form of coffee or tea. You can take any one of those, either coffee or tea, you can write as an answer. And come to the next question. Name one staple crop of India and the regions where it is produced. Staple crop means it is as a food crop and all. So wheat and paddy are considered as a staple crops. So you can write either wheat or paddy. So those features already you learned, what kind of how much temperature it requires, how much rainfall it requires, which soil is ideal, at present in which areas it is producing. These are all already we learned. So you can write answer of any one either in wheat or paddy. Better you take wheat, because at last one more question is given regarding paddy. Enlist the various institutional reform programs introduced by the government in the interest of farmers. So in previous class we learnt in 1950s what they did. Jamindar system was abolished, cooperative system was introduced, land ceiling act was passed. 1960s and 70s, green revolution technology was introduced, white revolution was also started in India. Started in India. In 1980s and 90s, land development programs were initiated, as well as Grameen banks were started, and then started to give loans either by Grameen banks or other banks, cooperative societies at reasonable interest rates, as well as in 1990s crop insurance was introduced. Kisan credits were issued by the governments, and then what we can say, weather changes started to issue bulletins by radios and televisions. These are all the technological as well as institutional reforms that introduced in our country under different phases. That what you learnt, you can take as an answer. Under the land under cultivation has got reduced day by day. Can you imagine its consequences? What will happen, sir? Naturally, India may face a problem of a food crisis, because land under cultivation started to decrease means naturally output also will be decreased. So it will be a problem to feed these millions of mouths in our country. So as well as it will be a problem to the raw materials, to the industries, especially agro-based industries and all. So that's why it leads to a big trouble over the employment opportunities in agriculture sector. So these are all the consequences if land is reduced under agriculture. And come to some essay questions are given. Suggest the initiative taken by the government to ensure the increase in agricultural production. You can write about green revolution technology, how irrigation facilities are increasing in our country, how government encourage the banks to give loans to the farmers at reasonable interest rates, as well as crop insurance system was introduced. So these are all the reforms you can write, and you can write your own suggestions also. Describe the impact of globalization on Indian agriculture. Just in today's class itself, we learned as a last part how Indian agriculture or farmers are facing a problem in our country and all. Just you go through once. And come to last question. Here. So here, describe the geographical conditions required for the growth of rice. Already you learned. You can go through once. Okay, is it clear? I hope you understood the lesson. By this, our lesson is completed. So you better focus on C work, completion of the C work, as well as learning part. Soon, within next 3-4 days, slip test will be conducted on the lesson agriculture, and then I will give some date and all. I will send through WhatsApp. So you better prepare by reading the whole textbook, not only few questions and all. So learn properly and get ready for slip test. Okay, thank you.